Disney's live-action Little Mermaid movie has been out for a week now, and it's got everyone talking. There's been a lot of controversy around this film, particularly the fact that Disney cast Halle Bailey, a black actress, for the role of Ariel, who was originally a white redhead in the animated film. Despite Bailey's talent, many people are upset by this change, but this raises the question, why? Why is this matter so important to so many people? Is it just due to pure racism? I won't deny there are some people out there who really are prejudiced against black people, an attitude which I do not support in the least. But is everyone who has criticized the race swapping truly racist against black people? Well, no, it's not that simple. I'm going to demonstrate this by looking at some counterexamples to The Little Mermaid. Just for the record, I don't intend to use Black Panther or Tiana from The Princess and the Frog here. These two have been used so many times by other people analyzing this issue that there really isn't anything more for me to add there. In 2010, Paramount Pictures released The Last Airbender, a live-action adaptation of the well-beloved animated series. Many fans were extremely upset that the actors for Sokka and Katara were white rather than Asian, since the characters in the show clearly had medium brown skin. So apparently race swapping is not just a problem for white to black characters. It's not appreciated in the opposite direction either. In 2015, Nonso Anozie played as the captain of the guard, Prince Kit's best friend and confidant in Disney's live-action Cinderella. He encourages Kit and ultimately helps him achieve his goal of marrying for love. Maybe I missed something, but I don't remember there being any controversy around this casting, likely due to his character being original and the movie overall being creatively different from the animated version. On the other hand, no race swapping does not guarantee popularity. Disney's live-action Mulan in 2020 garnered plenty of hatred due to story and characterization issues. People can complain about a movie for reasons other than race swapping. In 2021, Disney released the movie Cruella, which was meant to be a prequel to their 101 Dalmatians live-action adaptation from the 90s. Kirby Howell-Baptiste was cast as Anita Darling, despite the fact that Anita had always been portrayed as a white woman. Yet apparently no one batted an eye at this change. Why? I would say that the movie, while good in itself, doesn't come across as a prequel at all. It tells its own story, and it feels more like an alternative universe, with even Cruella herself having completely different motivations than in the original. I myself enjoy this film because I was able to disassociate it from the original. Therefore, having a black Anita didn't really make any difference. And that brings us back to The Little Mermaid. Why are so many people upset at the casting choice? I would argue that this comes down to two factors. First, it interferes with the nostalgia. No one fussed about the captain in Cinderella because not only was he a new character, but the movie itself didn't rely totally on nostalgia. It felt like its own movie with just a few nods to the animated classic. Same goes for Cruella. Although there are nods to the original cartoon and the 90s film, this movie mostly tells its own story and is not relying heavily on nostalgia to propel itself forward. However, since 2017, Disney has turned its live-action remakes into nostalgia traps, making the new versions follow the animated ones to a T. In particular, the original songs are kept, though with a few new ones added here and there. Much of the dialogue is extremely similar or even exactly the same, especially when you consider that in a Broadway-style musical, the songs count as dialogue. The problem is that The Little Mermaid falls into this category of nostalgia baiting. Many of the original songs are still there, though slightly altered, and some, though not all of the dialogue, is copying the original verbatim. It's so similar that, unfortunately, I can't disassociate it from the original like I can with Cinderella or Cruella. At the same time, Bailey's appearance is so different from the animated Ariel that I can't think of her as the same person. Truth be told, if the actress were a white girl but had porcelain blonde hair, this would still be frustrating, because Ariel's original look is so iconic. It's the same problem with The Last Airbender. I can't simultaneously think of these characters as the same characters from the animated versions and as completely new versions. It just doesn't work. The second reason for the backlash is, of course, identity politics. I won't get into this issue much here, YouTube has other people for that. Suffice it to say that Disney has not handled this issue very well. As for Bailey herself, I admire her talent, and I hope she gets the chance to star in something less controversial someday. It's a shame Disney is using this woman as a human shield against criticism. So basically, the backlash against this movie is really due to Disney's lack of creativity. They really should have just made a new version of the story like they did with Cinderella or Cruella, instead of directly copy-pasting from the original. That way Bailey could have made the role completely her own instead of getting compared to the original Ariel all of the time. It is not because Bailey is black. And just to hammer this point home, I'm going to show you one last counterexample, only this time it's a book, not a movie. One of my favorite authors, K.M. Shea, wrote a series of fairy tale novel adaptations called Timeless Fairy Tales. One of those novels is an adaptation of Andersen's Little Mermaid fairy tale called The Little Selkie, published in 2015. This story is very different from Andersen's fairy tale, let alone the Disney movie. For instance, the Selkies singing in this story is weaponized. They can control volumes of water with their singing. Dylan, the protagonist, is her clan's best singer and thus the best magic user. That's just one of many differences. Dylan is described as having tanned, bronze skin, sun-bleached dark brown hair, and sea-green eyes with ocean blue swirls. The cover you're seeing now is the official one on Amazon and KM Shea's website, and as you can see, the model on the cover looks exactly the way Dylan is described. However, I once came across a different, older cover for the book, and my reaction was, what is this? This looks nothing like Dylan. Why is she fair-skinned? Why is her hair blonde? I can't even tell what color her eyes are. What am I looking at? Like I said earlier, race swapping is problematic both ways. You know, I would love to see Bailey play as Dylan. I think she'd be perfect for the role. But I guess that's not something I'll ever get to see. Oh well. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. God bless.